Afternoon, Anne Arundel County. Good afternoon, America. Welcome to promoting community, conversation, and discovery. I'm your host, Anthony Bynum. The name of our production company is the Glen Burnie Players. These are exciting times here in Anne Arundel County. Beautiful, beautiful weather. But there's some other places in the country that are having a very hard time. The Southeast had two back-to-back storms. They've done a lot of damage, a lot of loss of life, a lot of loss of property, and just for miserable times for a lot of folks right now. A lot of Americans are hurting. Remember them in your prayers. Think about your fellow man, your fellow woman. Pray that they get through this situation. We just had another storm, Milton. Did more damage in Florida than any other place I understand it. And it's gone now, but it's going to take a long time. So just remember, we're all Americans. Just remember, just remember. Now, like I said, we have an exciting show today. So let's start off with upcoming events. This Saturday at the Glen Burnie Library at, I believe it's 2 o'clock. It's a taste of Guatemalan folk music. This event, this name of the group is called Marimba Linda Ex Lucha. I probably mispronounced the last word, which is Xeluju. But they're going to do Guatemalan folk music. I'm going to check it out. I like that kind of thing. I like that kind of thing. Also, Saturday, there's Art at the Park. Now, this is from 10 to 4. It's over at Quiet Waters. It's $6 for a carload to get in, but they have demonstrations, they have music, and I dig that music. Children's activities. I think it's really about art, though, right? I think that's the whole idea. So if you have some time on your hands, check it out. We want to thank our affiliates and do a shout out to them. So first, to start off with Anne Arundel Community Television, or Cable Access, rather. Thank you for airing our shows. Greenbelt Cable Access out of Greenbelt, Maryland, PG County. Thank you for airing our shows. Amherst Media out of Amherst, Massachusetts. Thank you for airing our shows. And of course, Manhattan Neighborhood Network. Thank you for airing our shows. We also want to thank our give credit where credit is due. So for this week's show, of course, big shout out to Wikipedia, but also shout out to Vivo, VEVO, and we'll talk about that a little later. Hopefully that segment's going to work for us. And of course, the Poem Hunter. We want to thank our sponsor / underwriter, that is the Cleaning Chef. So, most admired. We're going to bring this person up. Probably should have done him a long time ago, but there's so many greats out there and so many different walks of life. So many. Hard to believe I haven't circled back to this guy yet. So let's bring his picture up. You're going to know him immediately. We're talking about nobody other than Frank Sinatra. Wow. One of the original croners. But he did it with such class. Such class. So let's tell you what we have here. Frank Sinatra was born 12/12/1915. He died 5/14/1998. He was born and raised in Hoboken, New Jersey, a son of Italian immigrants. He died in Los Angeles, California. He was known as the chairman of the board, but I think the name that everyone knows him by is Old Blue Eyes. This guy was prolific. He sold 150 million records. Let me say that again. 150 million records. That's a lot of records. That's a lot of records. When he came on the scene in the early 40s, I believe the war years, I think the war was still going on. Yes, it was when he came on the scene. He was a swing guy. You still had all these great big bands, and he just knew how to swing with the bands. His debut album was in 1940. It was released 1946 on Capitol Records. I think it was called Frank Sinatra. They were too crazy about album names back in those days, I don't think. He was the guy who had one of the first constituencies in the music business, the Bobby Soxers. The young girls loved Old Blue Eyes. They love the guy. This guy worked with a lot of greats. He worked with a guy named Nelson Riddle. He was a big band guy. Nelson Riddle, if you remember from a lot of the 60s TV shows, his name was on there. His name. He was the guy who helped produce the music for Batman. I think he did Bewitched too. There's a lot of great stuff. A lot of great stuff from Nelson Riddle. Frank worked with Count Basie, one of the greats. One of the greats. He did film too, though. He did a lot of movies. The one that's probably most popular, the biggest theme movie probably that he ever probably did was The Manchurian Candidate. The best song, in my opinion, was the anthem, New York. But we're going to try to check something out in a second. I hope it works. Before we get into this thing, though, real quick here, him and his buddies, they formed the Rat Pack, and they created the whole idea of not going on tour, but have the tour come to you. That's what the Vegas thing was about. Playing the same place every night. You didn't have to deal with the travel, all that on your wear and tear. You could be close to your family. And he could do his thing. He could do his thing. Friends with Frankie, with Dean Martin rather, and Sammy Davis Jr. and Joey Lawford, and there's a couple other guys in there. Names I can't remember. Joey Bishop and a guy named Lawford. I can't quite remember what his thing was, other than being like President Kennedy's brother-in-law. That was kind of a big thing, though, right? We're gonna try this. I don't know if it's gonna work because of the format, but if it works, this will be a treat for all of us. If it works, yeah, if it works.
We will now do the national anthem, but you needn't rise. And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. I've lived a
I could listen to the whole thing. I love Frank Sinatra. I don't know. I hope that doesn't get us in any trouble or not. Matter of fact, we're just gonna say in closing that for all the things that I just said, this week our most admired goes to Old Blue Eyes. My favorite Frank Sinatra song actually is New York. You know, that's my favorite one. I remember when that when I was a kid, because I think it was something released in the 70s. He had so much class, man, just pure class. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to I'm gonna see if I can plug in. Here we go. I'm gonna go to our next, actually headquartered here in Anne Arundel County. That's the state employees credit union. And they have 3 locations, the corporate offices in Lincoln, but they have one in Glen Burnie, they also have one in Pasadena. So a little bit of history we want to see. Founded 10/1/1953. The then governor of Maryland, Theodore McKeldin, was the first customer. It's insured, deposit insured with the National Credit Union Administration. So you put your money there, you're safe. What I know about CQ is that they've always treated me fairly. They've always treated me fairly. And so again, they are headquartered right here in Anne Arundel County. So with that, we're going to stop the share. We have one more thing we want to do. Something that seems like I've never really talked about, poem or speech, is about money. We're talking about banks. Frank Sinatra sold 150 million albums. So let's talk a little bit about money. This is called Pass the Money. It was written by Amy Ludwig van der Water. I think she's written for us before, again, through Poem Hunter. Starts off, hand to hand, we pass the money. Hand to hand, we never know. Who earned this dollar long before? Who held it last? Where will it go? Did my future best friend fold it? Did it touch the president? Loaned and borrowed back and forth? Cash is hoarded, given and spent. Money travels soul to soul, world to world without a word. How I wish this bill could tell me secrets it has seen and heard. Stolen from the pocketbook, tucked inside a birthday note, lost for years beneath a mattress, found one day in someone's coat. Hand to hand, we pass the money. Nothing in the world is free. Goodbye, dollar. Off you go. And if you wish, return to me. I thought this was very cute. And again, it was called Pass the Money. It was written by Amy Ludwig van der Water. So, for everyone here at the Glen Burnie Players, again, my name is Anthony Bynum. Until next time, bye bye.